I have to start this video off by saying I sincerely apologize to Cordell Volson for not believing that he could turn his season around like he has. Listen, Cordell Volson, to start the season off, was a human revolving door. He was a McDonald's worker, but instead of being the worker, he was just a drive-through. And he was the personification of that said drive-through. People went right through him, right past him, and did not pay him any mind. And through the first half of the season, week 1, week 2, and then the 0 week 3, didn't know you can get that, week 4, week 5, and then week 6. And then preceding that, the 49ers game, then of course the Bills game. And he was serviceable in the Texans game. Ravens game, one of the worst. And I forgot where I was headed with this point. Oh yeah, the last couple weeks. The last couple weeks versus the Jags, a 76.5. Then last week, the second best offensive lineman, an 80.2. He still gave up pass rushes at 6.67%, like throughout the game. Like he was 6.67% of the time. A guy went right past him. But it's okay. It's okay. Because last week against the Vikings, he was our best offensive lineman. And at the end of the day, right, throughout the season, he obviously struggled. And he obviously is a second-year guy. He's not a player who's been in the league for a very long time. This is a younger guy. And he's going to progress. He's going to get better. And let me just double check to make sure he is actually second. I'm like 90% sure. Is he second year or is he longer than that? 2022. Yeah, so he's the second year guy. Yeah. So he's a second year guy. This is second year. Yeah, exactly. So it's, maybe I was too blatant to just absolutely write him off, and with him struggling so much this season, I guess it got the best of me with, everything going downhill for me to not believe that Cordell Volson could potentially turn around and become a pretty good solid option for us. And the man has done it. The man has absolutely done it. Last 3 games, through the roof. And I want to see him continue on this pace, because we played the Steelers this week. And last time we played the Steelers, Cordell Volson actually had a 65.2 game. But he allowed a pass rusher at almost 10% of the time going straight through him like a drive-through worker. We can't have that happen again, Cordell, okay? As long as you don't have that happen again, we're good. And I'll continue to praise you as time goes on. And listen, finish off this season strong, and you're probably going to keep that left tackle job, depending on how the draft goes and free agency and other options become available. With that being said, though, if everything works out correctly, you'll keep that left tackle or left guard job. I said left tackle, I meant left guard. But on the real note, yeah, so he had a great game. Orlando Brown had an amazing game, too. An 81.9. This is the second week in a row, almost the third week, if not for Jonah Williams, that we had all greens across the board for all of our guys, offensive line-wise. This is the second week we had this. Again, it went for Jonah in this week, who had really bad back-to-back awful games, and then really came alive against the Colts, and then came alive again in this game. I would be saying that the last 3 games, we had all greens. But for the last 2 games at least, our line is protecting so well for what's his name? For Jake Browning. Why could I not remember his name for a second? Sorry. For Jake Browning. They were protecting so freaking well. And 90% of, what we need to do moving forward is protect Jake Browning and let him get the ball to these playmakers. At the end of the day, everything starts and ends at the offensive line. Can you run the ball? That's an offensive line problem mostly. Can you pass the ball? That's an offensive line problem mostly. You have to be able to protect your quarterback, create the lanes for the running backs to run through, and be able to move the ball down the field. And when we see stuff like this where our line's actually playing great football and coming in as all greens throughout this whole entire last 2 weeks, this is what we need to see moving forward. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was wrong about Cordell Volson. I was wrong, at least the last 2 weeks. And you know what? Keep proving me wrong, Cordell. Keep proving me wrong. Keep going out there, performing at a top level, and showing me why you are absolutely the guy. And you know what? I was incorrect. Now, it's funny because Teddy K actually finished exactly as the third-ranked tight end. Oh, sorry, ranked tight end. Third-ranked offensive lineman both weeks in a row. He had 78 last week, 78.4. This week, 78.4. Wow, he actually literally did exactly the same against the Colts. Which is not usually something you can say about a player. It's like, hey man, you played just as good as you did last week. No, literally, he played exactly the same as last week. The only difference is last week he gave up 0% pass rusher. This week he gave up 4.167. So a little bit worse in that category. Jonah Williams, 76.6 last week. This week he gave up 66.9, but 0%, only 0% guy to not allow anyone to get through him. But again, like I said, 66.9, not the greatest number, but you know, it is what it is. Alex Kappa, 6.25 pass rushing, 65.4 overall grade. Last week, he was our best offensive lineman. And again, like I said, it's not perfect, but moving forward, we need to continue to see this progression and getting better and better. And we have some tough opponents coming up. The Browns, who just won today versus the Bears, who I think the Bears should be removed from the NFL because they absolutely had that game won and somehow, some way, ended up losing it to the Cleveland Browns. Maybe that's why I'm so weird in this video and I can't talk correctly, because I was so excited to make a video about the Browns losing, and instead the Bears, who were up 17-7, decided to choke away the game. Apologies. Passionate. Alright, but yeah, on a real note though, we need to see this progression get better and better as time goes on, because we play the Browns, we play the Chiefs, and we play the Steelers. Both of those defenses are absolutely dominant. And the Chiefs defense, honestly, is also really up there, too. They're playing the top of their game. So we have 3 tough defenses in a row, where we just played a tough defense versus Minnesota. So 4 defenses in a row now. We got through 1. We have to get through the other 3. And the sad part is, the other 2 of them, their offense, isn't really a problem. But the Chiefs, yeah, that's going to be the problem. So we're going to have to deal with the fact of not only getting through the defense, also getting through the offense for one of them. The Steelers, who lost to the Colts last night, I don't think their offense is going to be a problem for our defense personally. It might be. I don't think it's going to. Mitchell Trubisky doesn't scare me. And then the second one is the Browns, which Joe Flacco kind of does scare me, because he actually did come back in this game versus the Bears today and won the game. But they have no Nick Chubb. And their offensive line is destroyed. So hopefully we just get lucky in that game. And it's in Cincinnati. But with that being said, guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.